Size of that, it's decent size, right?
Yeah.
That is almost a Flintstone chicken wing.
Yeah.
What's the marinade with that?
I go for plain. There are options on marinade. I like plain. I think it's a good enough, kind of chunky enough, well-cooked chicken. Yeah, I don't need much more.
My go-to chicken side with sort of like chain pizza places. I really like the chicken tenders from Domino's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have quite a specific way. I like them really crunchy, so I ring up and ask them to do them well done, to put them through twice.
Amazing. I love you having a word with the chef beforehand. And please give them their proper name. They're chicken strippers from Domino's.
Oh yes, they are chicken strippers.
It's a little uncomfortable. Uncomfortable, but for some reason they're chicken strippers, not strips.
I've never thought about that.
I don't know why.
Okay.
I was genuinely. This is so funny if you treated them like a restaurant. I was in a Domino's the other day with the same friend who I've got this dip holder for. This Domino's had a table, so I was like, because I was out visiting them for someone. It wasn't like we weren't taking the food home. We were going to go and eat just out in the park or something. We thought, we could eat at the table, and because I was doing Domino's at tapas and they weren't, I ordered the pizza, and then I started to say about the sides, and I genuinely started to say, but I'd like them all to arrive at the same time, because I thought I was in a fucking restaurant saying I'll have them all with the maid, and I genuinely I got those words out, and the woman didn't quite hear, and I felt such shame, and I got back to my mate, and they went, I heard what you said there. You literally said so. I'm gonna order like a garlic bread and stuff, but if we can have them all at what? No, what am I doing? It's because I'm used to doing them all on apps, so I'm not used to actually talking to people.
That table thing, so I live in Clapton in East London, and there is one solitary sort of like school table basically in the Domino's there, which sometimes I see people sat there alone eating. I think, come on.
Well, that's what this was like. It's such a weird one.
For me, it's too exposing to be the one person in the glass window at Domino's eating on your own, having a pizza. I think I'd much rather go and sneak down a side street or something if need be.
When you've got a Domino's and you're taking your cover,
we gonna make this sale?
Okay.
We got the Coke in your saddlebags. Just ride over and make the drop.
I had to drive to Grays to collect pizza. And let's get specific here. Grays or Basildon, depending on how the traffic is. the garlic bread with cheese will rarely make it all the way home. I'll put everything else in the pizza bag, I'll have that on the top, and I'll think to myself, I'll just have one for the drive, but often all four will be gone by the time I go.
You see, if you're eating in the Domino's, which is a freakishly rare occurrence, you're losing out on eating on the car on the way home, and you're losing out on eating at home. I just don't know why. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen anyone eat at Domino's inside.
It's got to be that you're in a town that isn't your home, and you're not going home. Do you know what I mean? So you might not want to sit in your car and eat it. I mean, what is more depressing? Sitting alone and eating in your car, or sitting alone and eating in the restaurant? That's a big, deep debate, but I'm not the man to be able to answer that. I mean, speaking of the variety of pizza places, I do need to mention that I have had pushback on my takeaway tapas movement, on the small plates movement. So, Pizza Go-Go have tried to stop me, but I found a workaround. So anyone who's panicking, I found a workaround. If you order Pizza Go-Go through their app, it says you can't place an order unless there's a pizza in your basket. But if you order Pizza Go-Go on Just Eat or on Deliveroo, you can order what the fuck you want. So just for anyone who's wanting to get into this but has a preference for Pizza Go-Go, I've got workarounds. This is a serious movement.
Oh, that is really good. I can't figure out if I basically prefer a Pizza Go-Go type pizza or I prefer one of the big three.
It's really good though, because again, I genuinely, it's sad how passionate I am about this, but I'll post every now and then about a particular pizza I've been excited about, and people will be, well, if you're eating at Papa John's, then you don't really enjoy pizzas. It's like, no, I do sometimes want a traditional Italian pizza. Like, I think Fire Away are a really good mass market brand of that more brick oven Italian style pizza, but sometimes I want a Pizza Hut, sometimes I want a Domino's, sometimes I want a kebab shop pizza. It's okay to just be specific for those needs. My thought is, if you only enjoy fancy Italian pizzas, then you're not really that big a fan of pizza.
I completely agree.
I couldn't agree more.
Because you don't appreciate all the variations of them.
Simran will agree with me when I say this. Of all the shows, you shouldn't be embarrassed about being passionate about these things. This is the perfect show. Can I take us even deeper? So we talk about those different pizza places, and for me, one of the key differentials between all of them is the dip. Now, you talked about the dips you've got tonight. I'd like your top 3 pizza dips from across all pizza companies. What are they?
I've got it, but I'd also like to give the one that I think should be put in prison.
Okay, perfect.
If that's okay. But I would go, in general, you've got to give it to Domino's garlic and herb. Their little Domino's dip is great. Like, while I'm excited about the marinara dip, it's because it's not been available in anywhere for so long. So I'd put the marinara dip at number 2 from Papa John's.
Yeah.
And number 3, I'd probably, again, it feels like I'm just sharing them out, but Pizza Hut and Fire Away are 2 places that will do you a sweet chili dip.
Ooh.
And again, I like that for certain sides and stuff like that. Yeah, both of those will do a sweet chili.
Would you use that with pizza or not?
Not necessarily with pizza. With Fire Away, I would use it with the wedges with parmesan, and with Pizza Hut, I would use it with their chicken dippers.
Lovely.
But I've chosen Papa John's here, and I'm being all complimentary. Their garlic sauce that naturally comes
What's up,
with their
pal?
pizza is one of the most disgusting
Okay,
things
I'll get you out of trouble. No problem.
I think it's got better.
Really? Genuinely, this is going to sound so crazy. I've not let one in my house for a long time, because I will, because it's the one that comes free, I'll take that out as I'm taking my pizza in, and I'll throw it in the outside bin, because I don't want that thing in my house, but it's improved, you're saying?
I think it's improved. Because usually the problem with it is that it was basically like liquid butter.
Yeah.
And it had this like weird, like oily aftertaste. So you breathe it in, it was just awful. I had one literally a week ago. It was slightly thicker. The viscosity was different.
Interesting.
It was more garlicky.
Maybe I'll give it another go.
I thought you hated them, Sim. I'm not wrong. Yeah.
I hated them, but I had one. And when I tried it, I was overwhelmed with joy that it had changed.
Now, was it good, or was it just better than it was?
It was better. I'm not saying it was good.
But that's a different thing, isn't it? That's a different thing.
It was good. I was impressed by the journey it had been on.
That is interesting, though. Maybe I'll crack one open at some point.
But Simran, if you can be the sort of person to find joy in the marginal improvements of a garlic-based sauce from Papa John's, and you'll find joy everywhere in life, Simran, if you can find it in that.
You should look at it the other way around. I'm amazed that I can't find a joy in anything else in life, but I can find a joy in that. So what does that say?
Yeah. Again, I think it's finding those things you can find the joy in. I get mocked all the time because if mates are coming over for takeaway or whatever, they know that when they get here, I will already have looked at what I want, decided what I want, and to the extent when I'm active, as soon as I get my hotel location, I'll quickly enter the postcode into Deliveroo, Uber Eats, and have a little look at what's around and what's going to be available. Because again, I do live in an area that only just got Uber Eats, like during the pandemic. Like we didn't have that until then. So yeah, I'm always excited to go, what different things are available.
I am exactly that person as well. Have you ever done this? Because I've never met anyone else who does this. If I am leaving the house and there's a takeaway leaflet on the floor that I haven't read before, and I'm going on the bus or a cab, I will take it with me and have a read.
Amazing. I haven't done that, but I love it.
We all have a tube reading. I find it fascinating. Absolutely.
He's gone through the entire canon.
Of course, yeah, exactly. Let's sort of take you back to your takeaway past, though. So, growing up, did you have takeaways growing up? What was your experience of takeaways from childhood?
It's interesting because I was talking to my mum about this recently, and she still does this. We would have takeaways.
Hello, this is Pegasus Lifestyle Management. How can I help?
We would always collect, and it isn't something that crossed my mind.
Your beautiful new aircraft is waiting at our nearest airfield. We hope you're very happy, madam.
And I'm like, no, everywhere delivers now. It's like, but yeah, I guess it's an older thing. But yeah, we'd get a Chinese or fish and chips were kind of our only options in my area, and it would be a treat at the weekends.
Just to quickly go back. You said that you had your high-end takeaways, and then more basic takeaways. Talk me through your high-end ones.
I'm glad we're getting to mention this, because the thing I almost ordered, there's a burger place near me called D&B Grill, and it's so weird because I just found it on one of the apps and the burgers look good. Started ordering, they're amazing. They used to do like a biscoff burger, they do all sorts of just weird stuff, it's really good. And then when I looked at where they are, it's the grotty pub I used to go to like metal gigs in. It's this place called the Castlemaine in Basildon, which is just a proper like live music venue, and they just seem to have got a really good burger guy who does loads of grill stuff, burnt ends, all sorts of stuff like that.
That's really interesting. because there is a real pop-up sort of kitchen thing, especially in the burger scene with pubs. I think it's a place that they know they can sell to a clientele who enjoy burgers. When you're having a pint, there's nothing better than having a decent burger with a pint. And loads of these places, like with incredible group of guys who run a place called Four Legs in London, and you know Four Legs, which they've set up a pub in Finsbury Park, where they now serve incredible food. But they were initially just pop-up selling burgers and things like this. And it's for young chefs. It's a great place for people to try, start out with.
And again, it's really good because of the apps now. Because even if it might be a quiet night, you've got that reliability of getting some local orders in there as well.
Absolutely.
Collection, I think it really makes a difference. But again, there's another one. There's a local pub called Gino's that does a really good Italian style pizzas, and that's one of my high end. But also, one of the reasons I didn't go for them, I've ordered from them before, and they've just rung up and gone, "No, we've run out." And I've gone, "Oh right, so what have you run out of?" Like, we just run out of food. But they're a local place, and it's really good Italian style pizzas. So they're my two kind of high end ones, I guess.
It's interesting you were saying there about we've run out. I was just going to say, I went on there's a great burger place near me, where I went on the Deliveroo last week. They just sell burger and fries, and they by 8:30 they sold out of fries. You couldn't buy fries. You could only. So for me, it's like, I don't know how you manage this. You literally just sell burger and fries.
It's the thing with this place, it's why I can't rely on them, because as I've already established, if I'm having a takeaway later, I'm thinking about it all day.
Yeah.
You could log on the app at 5 and they've just taken all the food off.
There's nothing more depressing. That faded font on the app when something isn't working.
It's so true.
Or the search when they're not coming up, and you're like...
And the desperation and your refusal to face reality. So you end up pressing it anyway, knowing that it's not going to go to the next page.
Simran, what I've done sometimes is when something's faded out, one of the dishes, I will go and I'll come back again in half an hour to see if they've got that back in again.
I've done that in case... Yeah, I've told myself, the drivers must just be busy. I'll check back in a bit. But I've rung them before, and one of the things I was going to bring up here is, like, the apps, genuinely, to get all serious now, the apps have been a massive thing for me, because I've got a stammer, and it comes and goes, it's not always prevalent, but phones are where it's really at its worst. So ordering a takeaway, and again, you've seen I'm someone who's quite specific, so I'm not necessarily just going to want, I'll have this, like, here's what I want you to take off of that, here's what I want you to have there. So the evolution of every restaurant having its own app and your delivery and Uber Eats has been a godsend for me, because it takes all the stress out of it. There would be particularly when I was a bit younger, there would be and as you do ringing up anyway, like when you're a younger man, it's a bit nerve-wracking, but there would be an element of stress and pressure. But now it's pure glory, a pure treat. Just get to go, yes, I can order everything I want.
Okay, so you've got your Holy Trinity cover. Are you getting a dessert with that?
Yeah, always a dessert. I'll often choose based on the dessert. But would you like me to rank the cookies?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Because Papa John's is number one for me, and it's a controversial one, because what I like about it is it feels like you've got it from like a barbecue. Like, it feels like your mum's made it.
Hey, I didn't realise that Papa did cookies.
And look at this, I'm going to take it out of its box, actually, because you will just think I've been to a barbecue.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God, I have had that. That stuff is crazy.
It's just this cookie pie, just in tin foil, and it's fucking beautiful.
Just to describe that, it's like a wheel from a child's bike, basically, isn't it? It's quite a big old thing.
I'd say it's a 9-inch pizza, so if you're going on Domino's size, it's not individual, it's small. So it's not the individual Domino's size, but the small Domino's pizza. And they're amazing, and I think I have Domino's cookies at number 2. I was going to say Pizza at number 3, but I might put Pizza Go-Go at number 3, because Pizza Go-Go do a really good cookie.
You're not getting through that entire pie on your own, eh?
Well, normally, this is now an illustration of my takeaway nights. Normally I'm getting a takeaway because I'm staying up to watch the UFC.
Okay.
So I stay up on a Saturday night till 3 a.m. to watch the UFC. So ordering at 8 or 9, I get the bulk of it eaten, and then I've got till 3 to keep grazing, to keep coming back. So I will get through it. But yeah, if it was a regular eating, I might be eating some in the morning.
You can count some of it as a really early breakfast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does that logic work?
I have got a ridiculous capacity for sweet stuff. So I've mentioned Domino's cookies there. Every now and then they do either an after 8 cookie or a chocolate orange cookie. Now, both of them, if they're in, I will order them, but I'll have to get the 2 desserts for £8, because I still need the regular cookies as well, because it's Domino's and they're really good. So I'll end up getting through 8 cookies on my own.
8 cookies is just impressive. I love it.
As we're doing a deep dive into all this stuff, what is your go-to Domino's order? Take us through your Domino's order.
If I was doing takeaway tapas, I would get a garlic bread, the pizza one, the little garlic bread mini pizza, and then I'd get the chicken combo pack thing. So you've got a few kickers, a few strippers, and a few wings, and that would be my tapas there normally. And then I'd get probably 2 loads of dessert. They used to do city dippers, which was like a cinnamon breadstick with like an icing dip, and that was golden.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think maybe on some level your use of the phrase tapas is a way of easing yourself the fact you just bought loads of junk food again?
It's clever though, man, because really the pizzas are the bit they make crazy expensive, so you can kind of get a decent, at points, you can get a decent deal, particularly with like a Papa John's who've got 25% off if you spend over 25 quid. Normally, if you order your sides and your dessert, it'll come to just over 25%, so you're getting that nice quarterback straight off, whereas if you're ordering a 20 quid pizza or whatever, it goes through the roof.
Yeah, because I think yesterday I was getting quite peckish. I just went to the corner shop. I got a little tapas selection of some blue M&Ms, and Snickers, and a bag of sweets, which I thought was just hit the spot.
Treat yourself. Just mix it out.
What is interesting about these things, though, you're right, they do want to use the deals, really, don't they? They want you to use lots of things. I don't know if you go on Domino's example, you look up, like, what does a small pizza cost? It'll be like, on its own, it's like 18 quid or whatever. Something ridiculous. And then you click on the deals, it's small pizza with a side, whatever. And it's because they want you to be nudging up. They want you to keep going, oh, well, I should really probably add a couple of things or whatever. Quite clever.
Exactly that. And that's the beauty of the sides, is they're made to be an add-on. Also, good tip on here's a great tip for anyone ordering my Domino's tapas order. Put the garlic bread and the chicken selection in the basket, go to order, and it'll offer you the cookies for $3.99 rather than $4.99. Because it wants you to add them on.
Oh, wow. Oh, that is a hack, isn't it?
So again, there's techniques to all of this.
You're basically haggling online. I love that. You're threatening to leave the shop.
Domino's will always offer cookies or garlic bread or wedges, I think it is, for £1 off if you go to the basket. That's my pro tip.
That's incredible. Now, Simran, there's something I'm painfully aware that we haven't done here. Pip hasn't actually eaten any of his food yet. So, do you want to dive into your first thing and tell us why you love that particular thing? And also, I'd like to know how you'd normally be eating this. Because obviously it's not normal to sort of eat on Zoom while people watch you.
I'll be a sofa guy in front of the TV. I'm going in on one of the wings. And again...
Oh, that sounds great.
I think, as you can see, the size of it, there's a lot of meat on there. And a lot more than your Pizza Hut or your Domino's wings. It feels like you've gone to a wing place. I don't know why they're so chunky, but yeah. It's a good bit of chicken.
Okay, so you'd recommend that. You're not dipping in anything. Let's try the tater tots.
Oh, here we go. This is a big one for me.
Yes. So the key here, I've gone for the cheese and bacon ones, and the good bit is the cheese kind of, whatever they cook it on, it tends to burn a bit. So as you can see, there'll be like a skin of cheese all stuck together, so I can dip my top.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's great.
And then I've got a bit of bacon in there, a bit of cheese.
Oh, lovely.
And a bit of potato, and it's heavenly.
That is delicious.
I think anything charred is improved, isn't it? If anything that can be cooked charred without being burnt, I find that's perfect. It's improved. It always is.
Yeah, 100%.
And then finally, what's your final tapas?
A dipper here. So, sorry, the popcorn chicken stuff they do, or yeah. And again, I'll get about half of it covered.
Yeah.
And then that's going in one. It's meant to be popped in.
Perfect.
They're glorious. Mm. They're great, right? And again, you will notice, particularly for you here, Sim, that everything is going back into its own box.
Oh, I love it.
I'm not putting the bones on anything else.
Yeah, great.
That's the beauty of the small plates movement, is you get a separate box for each thing, so you can either eat them in order or you can rotate through, but you know, you're not cross-contaminating.
That is excellent.
So, when you're not at home having a takeaway, let's say, if you're on
That's
tour
a
or
successful sale.
What are you eating then? Or let's say if you're on the road for any reason, what's your style of takeaway eating?
It's tough. It's tough. Something I have to take into big consideration is my beard and moustache.
A fantastic beard and moustache, may I say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
At home, I can take more risks than out and about. For example, before I had a beard, I loved like a breakfast bat.
Yeah.
So you got a fried egg in there. You got all this. If I get fried egg in my beard, I have to have a full shower. It's a mess. It's a horrific thing. If you get fried egg on your cheek, you wipe it off, you get on with your day.
Yeah.
This is, you need to go and have a full shower, it's a mess. So I'll take that into consideration. But I've been in London a lot recently on meetings. So not necessarily festivals, and my ex-partner lived in Margate, and both of those places have a lot of pastry options. And I've become a big fan of a pastry, of a variation of pastries, of a cinnamon swirl, of a chocolate croissant, of all these different things. And being in London made me really regret living in Essex without the range of pastries available.
That's interesting, though. You say the idea of a pastry on the move. I think a pastry is basically one of the only foods I'm willing to eat when I'm walking. I'm really obsessed about it. We've talked about this on the show before, but I can't get over watching people walking on eating a kebab on their way home from a night out.
No,
I'm a get home, get it on a plate, eat it at a table or in front of the TV person. A croissant, I can walk with that. I'm happy with that. I've found the food I'm happy to walk with.
I think I prefer a pastry on the move. Because again, what it's doing there is the movement is dislodging any crumbs from my beard. So it's actually working perfectly for the problem I first detailed. So on the move, it's brushing out. So by the time I get to where I'm going, it's all clean. Whereas if I'm just sat there, it could be there for hours and I don't notice. And I can't be living like that.
Would you eat a kebab walking home on a night out? Are you that sort of person?
No, I don't think so. I'm the same as you. When I do, like, there's a good fish and chip shop near me, and I'll have to walk to collect that, but it'll be in the bag until I get home, and then I'll be sitting down and eating it.
Well, we talk about kebabs then. Let's talk about late night drunken orders. Let's talk about that. Okay, so it's 2 a.m. You've been to some snazzy showbiz party, or whatever, and you're on your way home. What are you going for? I want it in intimate detail, and how are you eating it?
Well, it's pizza again.
Oh,
right, it's kebab shop pizza. There's a place near me called Flames, so I'll order a garlic bread pizza from them. They do individual stuffed crust pizzas. So again, I feel like I'm not overdoing it. So they do one that's barbecue sauce, chicken, ham, and sweet corn and cheese, and then a stuffed crust. But genuinely, it will arrive. I will put the 2 orders on the side in my kitchen, lift them up, dab the top with kitchen roll, because they're greasy as fuck. But that's what I want at that time of night. See, I've had a few of them where I've got in, say, at 1 or 2 o'clock, and it's time to go to bed, and I'm scrolling to find something on TV because I want something to sit with me while I'm eating, or to take my mind off the fact I'm on my own eating a kebab shop pizza at 2 a.m.
Have you ever had the thing where you got home from a night out, it's like 1:30 in the morning, and you ordered something on an app, and then it says it's going to be like an hour, and you're like, I've misjudged this.
And I'm resenting the food that hasn't turned up.
Speaking of misjudgment, you're misjudging how much of a focus food is on my life. I've looked at the time it will take on the way home when I've ordered it to arrive moments after I get home. I do that regularly on the train. So I'll be on the train home. And I'll check delivery times. I'll be like, if I order at Tilbury Town, it should be there about 10 minutes after I get in. But then if it's coming from Basel, I need to order when I'm at Grays, and then by the time I get to my station, I'll be clean.
I've just come up with a brilliant idea for you. You need to leave your heated pizza bag thing somewhere outside your house, near a bin. Yeah, go. Just when you get there, just leave it in there, and then it'll still be warm.
Pop it in, mate, don't you worry. Go in the back garden. There's a little pizza bag.
You can thank me later.
Yeah, that's great. I love it.
So, do you remember the first takeaway that really blew you away? Is there a moment in your life, or one which you got particularly addicted to at a certain time in your life?
It will be when we used to order from the Chinese, because as a young kid, I wouldn't want anything from the Chinese, so we'd get just from the fish and chip shop for me, and the family that'll be eating Chinese. And then I always remember the moment that I felt like a grown-up because I was ordering from the Chinese. And what did I order? A chicken omelette.
Oh, wow.
For fuck's sake, in my mind, this was so Chinese. But so it was a chicken omelette that would come in one of the square silver tins that Chinese food comes in, and it's just, you pour it onto your plate, and it is this rectangle of an omelette. But again, I now know that I was ordering the one fucking English dish.
I think that shows a very sophisticated and nuanced palate. Thank you. At an early age, dare I say.
Yeah.
Because usually people just go for a chow mein or the things that are popular dishes. That's not the way that you roll then.
It'd have chicken in it, it'd have peas in it, and yeah, it was nice. Just a little omelette.
Do you think that's what it is? It's basically for an anglicised market?
Yeah, I reckon so. It's why most Chinese places and a lot of Indians, as I'm sure Josh Whittaker will probably tell you, do chips as an option.
You mentioned very briefly earlier you thought his no rice stance was insane. You're not behind that?
Yeah, I'm absolutely not behind that. I think it's appalling.
So what would you order for a curry then, Pip? If you're taking the same level of approach to curries as you are to pizzas, I think that could be overwhelming for the takeaway community.
My curry order is something, like, you know, people have guilty pleasures in music. I always argue you shouldn't have guilty pleasures, anything you enjoy. I feel guilty about my curry order because I had my first curry after the age of 24 or 25, I think. I came to curries really late, so I don't go for any kind of great level of heat.
And the first one you had was a chicken omelette curry, which I thought was very expensive.
Mate, it's not far off. My old curry order, a place near mine did the most amazing butter chicken. And again, that sounds like the British choice, but it was amazing. It would have a masala sauce kind of underneath it and this creamy, buttery sauce on top, and it was just astounding. But that place closed down. So I'm for lamb tikka masala with pilau rice, sag paneer, and here's the one that's gonna, you know, you're all thinking so far so English man ordering a curry, and then I just pop on a honey naan.
Ooh, I've never heard of this.
Yeah.
Hold on, when you say you pop on a honey naan, is a honey naan on offer, or are you getting a naan and then when you get home, that rose sauce is going all over it?
Honey naan is on the menu. A honey naan is on the menu.
Can I just briefly ask you, Red, if it wasn't on the menu, what do you think was happening? Look, you down a pot of honey.
As a takeaway, you're ordering a normal naan, and then you get your little squeezy bottle of honey, honeying all over it, and then you're shoving that in the grill of the oven, you're melting it down, and then you're eating it. And that, by the way, I would be on board with.
Basically, a few years back, Pooh Bear opened an Indian in my town. And there's a place
there, thanks very much.
Lovely. I can say it. There's an Indian near me called Panahar, and they do a honey naan. I saw it on the menu one day and thought, that seems odd. And yeah, it's just glorious. It's that beautiful, particularly with the richness of a good masala. It's really beautiful as that sweet hit.
Well, I suppose there's a bit of an overlap there with Peshwari, isn't there? That sweetness from Peshwari, I love that. I love that, especially with a hot curry. I like that it sort of cuts through the heat a bit, that bit of sweetness. Where do you stand on poppadoms? Are you a poppadoms person? Do you think they just wait to fill you up?
I'm a poppadoms person in the restaurant, but never at home for some reason.
Never at home? Oh, what a prude you are.
I've got my pizza bag. What I need to do is get one of their rotating sauce things, and then I'll have them at home.
Yeah, that's it.
You need that little rotating sauce gadget.
I'll tell you what, Pip, we will send one to you if budget allows.
Beautiful.
That's so true. It is so much more satisfying from that, isn't it? It's spooning it, dripping a little bit on the table.
I don't want a little plasticky pot that I'm just scooping into. I want that little rotated dish. So yeah, that's why I'm not a poppadoms. But yeah, I do think Tim Poppadom's good. I was against them for a long while because I just thought I would sit down for a meal and just have a packet of crisps first.
Yeah.
Previously, I'd do mainly the mango chutney and then have a little bit of everything else. And then I realised I'm a grown-up and I don't have to have a little bit of everything else. I could just have constant mango chutney and just enjoy myself.
Our producer Ben just messaged us to say that you have strong views on rice and that we should ask you, apparently. Is this true?
Yeah, I've got strong views on the cooking of rice.
Okay.
This is deep. How you cook rice is... Please take out your pens now. So, say it's one cup of rice, it'll be 1.5 cups of water. You bring it to a boil, you put the lid on, bring it to a boil, turn it down to simmer, and then you let that simmer until the water is all gone. And then you leave it with the lid on for 10-20 minutes, so it's just in its own steam. And that's it, you serve up. It's beautiful. If you're draining your rice then you've not cooked it right. I'm almost militant on my rice prep.
Do you stir your rice in water a few times to take the starch out? Do you bother doing that?
I'll rinse it at least, I'll wash it at least twice.
Yeah.
Sometimes 3, depending on how sticky I want it. In general, I want it quite sticky. I think it's beautiful like that.
You know what I put in my rice? I put star anise,
Right.
cloves, and cardamom pods
I like it.
when I'm cooking my rice.
I like all of this.
I just like making them perfumed, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like you can add anything you want. It's just, for me, it's more that, again, it's a very British thing. So you just have this huge pot of water and you're putting your rice in and then you're sieving it out and all that while you're overcooking it. And I think it's mad that there's that perfect kind of magic ratio of 1 to 1.5 that then you just allow it to boil down and it's the perfect amount of time for it to just taste, to be perfect cooked.
My little suggestion for rice, I like a sort of Persian type of rice where I add sultanas, saffron and almond flakes. There you go. This is becoming a very rice-heavy podcast. Love it.
I call bullshit on that. I bet you never do that.
I've done that a lot. I have genuinely have. And you also cook weirdly. You steam it in a shallow pan with not much water on a low heat for a while. Yeah, so we should get together and cook some rice together.
We really should. We should have a rice off.
The Rice Boys.
The rice boys. So, as we're coming to an end, we should ask you what we usually ask a lot of our guests. Can you tell us of a takeaway disaster that you've had?
I can tell you of one really recently. I was in Spain filming a TV show.
The land of tapas. I can see why you were there.
I was in the land of tapas. I was like, I have come home.
It's a pilgrimage.
So I'm filming and I've got a 5 o'clock pickup, right? So I'm thinking I'm not going to go out for dinner with the cast in the evening. I'm going to get an early night takeaway in my hotel room. Also, part of it is I just want to get takeaways in places I've not been to before. But I'm in Spain, so a lot of places are closed from 4:30 to 8:30 because of their siestas. But I crack open Uber Eats and I find this pizza place called Pizza Corner. The Instagram Pizza Corner CC if anyone's curious. And it looked amazing. So I placed my order, and this is about 7 o'clock. On Uber Eats, you've got an option to pay an extra couple of quid to get it in. It was like 10 to 15 minutes rather than 15 to 30. And I was like, I'll pay extra. I'm being responsible. I'm staying in my room. I'm having an early night. After about 45 minutes, I hadn't heard anything. So I'm worried. Like, you know, you can contact the drivers. I'm like, I send him a question mark because I thought he's not going to speak English. I later in the story find out that Uber auto-translates. So that's amazing.
Wow.
I send a question mark and he goes, hey man, I went to the restaurant and they're just turning on the ovens. It'll be ready in about 45 minutes. And I was like, right, it's already half an hour late. So I'm kind of like spinning out a bit here. I'm having this early night. So 40 minutes or so goes by and I message him because you can see where they are on the app as well. Like once they've accepted it, I can see he's on the other side of town just chilling. So I'm thinking, obviously go and do your other orders, but be back at the restaurant around that time for me. But I'm obviously not a pro, so I send a message going, hey man, any update on my order? And he messages back going, someone's hungry, I'll head there now.
It's aggressive.
I was like, okay, cool. A long story short, it arrived just over 2 hours after I ordered it. Bearing in mind I was doing all of this because I was having an early night and being a responsible professional, I was fuming. The pizza ended up being good, the dessert was good, but I was just the angriest boy in the world in this.
Someone's hungry.
Yeah, someone's hungry. Just a little bit of sass and flair. No, not time for that, my friend. Normally, again, I love a delivery driver. I think it's really important to respect and to tip and to show warmth and friendship to your delivery drivers because they're really key. Particularly, we saw that during the pandemic, all these things, you know. But I couldn't take it at this point. I was like, this isn't the time for a little bit of chat and banter, mate. This isn't someone's hungry. I'll head there now, my friend. I'll head there now. Like, okie doke. Keep me updated.
Being sarcastic when you're hungry is a dangerous mix.
Absolutely.
And when it's already crazy late. But again, I also have to accept it's the Spanish culture, right? They have their siestas because it's meant to be chilled and laid back. And I'm going there as a British takeaway obsessive, going, where is my order? Immediately, please.
Talking of timescales, I once got an email from Papa John's saying, hello, pizza lover. Just to let you know, you can now order your pizzas 3 months ahead of delivery, so it's one less thing to worry about, which has always stuck with me. I don't know who these people are.
They can't have said 3 months.
It was 3 months.
Well, 3 hours.
I'll tell you this, and this is kind of a good end note, but I've always wondered who uses those. Like, you can preset a time. I've always thought, what's the appeal? I just order it when I want it. My dad loves it.
Really?
When the Papa John's opened, he had his first Papa John's with me. I recommended a few bits. And then when he ordered from home, next time I was around, it was like, do you know you can set a time? So he'll order it at like 2, 3 o'clock to come at 6 o'clock, because that's when he has dinner. And he's mentioned it to me so many times, and we've almost got into kind of arguments about it, because I'm like, no, you've mentioned it, I don't see any benefit of that at all. I can't, if I get to 6 o'clock, I'll order it. If I want it at 6, I'll order it at 5:45.
Also, what you fancy might have changed by the time that's the thing, if you order earlier in the day, it changes.
That's my belief. But again, it's so, I said I love it. It's just, it doesn't work in my head at all, but it was the most exciting thing from my dad about Papa John's. He was so buzzing that it's like, you can set the time and it'll just be there. So there are people who that appeals to, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. So, tonight's meal, you've had a Papa John's. Would you recommend it to our listeners? Just remind them what you've had and when you'd recommend each dish.
Yes, so I have had the chicken poppers, the chicken wings, and the tater tots with cheese and bacon. I would recommend all 3 of them. You've seen I've been enjoying this conversation. This is a conversation I like to have, but my eyes have glanced to my right several times because I'm very excited to get into my cookie, so I would also recommend that. So yeah, it's a big recommend across the board. And yeah, I would recommend using the 25% off by ordering on the app. Again, I do think cheats are important because takeaways are expensive at times, and we're in tough times. I think there's scams for all the apps. As I said, my Domino's scam is one of my proudest.
I can't believe that. It's basically you opening the front door of the shop and going, I'm willing to go elsewhere. That's what it is.
It's exactly that. They go, whoa, okay, $3.99. How about $3.99? And I go, yes, I will take it.
If you minimise the screen, you get even more off. other things you can do.
You walk into the distance, if you put your phone and walk to the other end of the room.
What an absolute pleasure speaking to you. And as I say, you said earlier you felt guilty about how obsessive you are about all this stuff, but for this show, it is absolutely perfect. As Simran and I have a similar obsession, hence the reason we do this.
Yeah, I appreciate you making this safe space for me to talk about my obsession.
Yeah, absolutely.
It couldn't be safer. It couldn't be safer. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys. Cheers.
Brug for underholdning til sommerens havearbejde eller køretur sydpå med familien. Med Mofibo får du nemt over 600.000 historier med på ferie. Her finder du både sommerens bedste krimi, romance, biografi eller familieunderholdning, både til hjem og ferie. Fantastiske lydbøger til alle sommerens stunder med Mofibo i ørerne.
You can contact the show on Twitter @FaveTakeawayPod or Instagram on My Favorite Takeaway Podcast. You can email us with your stories of takeaway, woe, gripes, your worries on hello@myfavoritetakeawaypodcast.com.
That was an absolutely excellent episode. I tell you what though, the car seat to keep your pizza warm is something I've never done. But I think I probably would now do it and not feel weird about doing it. It feels like an actually normal thing that for some reason I've just chosen not to do.
Quite depressingly, if I chose to do that, I would first have to learn to drive. So I'm a minimum 7 months away from being able to warm up a pizza in the footwell of a car.
I still forget that you can't drive, which is sort of weird.
No, I can't. Let's move on past that. Okay. I wonder how many people do that in general, use the car seat to warm food or the footwell. Listeners, do you do that? Do you have weird ways of transporting your food and keeping it ready and fresh by the time you eat it at home? Send us your stories, send us your truths. So thank you so much for joining us again on My Favourite Takeaway. If you've enjoyed the show, please do leave us a 5-star review and tell your friends, because it means the world to the show, helps spread the word, helps us getting great guests. Yeah, it just means so much to us. We can't wait to see you next week.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Yo, what you want? Beak or jaws? Feathers or fur? Sharp teeth or beady claws? Whatever's preferred. The one you call last request to steady your nerves. Then podcast the body parts get severed and served. Bring your weak shit where the wolf for now laughs. That ain't just a mistake, that's an awful howler. Both of them and those of what I got you shows. At the crowd releasing the murder like they rolled in with the gang of trolls. Fuck this shit, let them see the whole thing. Stay catch the kill, never keep the flow bit. Dark enough to turn the sun to the moon. You'll see nothing, all you hear is a huff a puff and a dress spinning, the flesh dripping, impressive in it. The pit bringing his head spinning. Just hearing every word in his song. So got two old men dressed up as a bird and a dog.
Oh my gosh. The Minute Bad Boys are back in the room. Yes, Warmish Rangalee for Tom Davis. We're into that Wolf for Now podcast. Wolf for Now.
Have you finished your Invisalign now?
I don't want to talk about it.
Your teeth are banging, boy.
Do they?
Yeah,
I think
really
so.
good.
No, they
Yeah,
give it
mirror.
It's still got a crooked thing going on there.
I can't wait till I look like that.
I got vegan fish and chips today. I've just finished eating it.
Vegan fish and chips? Vegan fish and chips work?
I don't know. I've had vegan. I've gone to vegan fish and chips place where they use banana blossom. But I don't
Banana
think,
blossom?
what was that I doing in my hand there? But this wasn't banana blossom. It's some sort of fish simulation.
Do you think, how far away do you think it is that we'll just stop eating animals entirely?
Well, I'd love that.
Yeah, I know, but it's got to be happening soon, right?
No, I don't think so.
But
When you say stop eating animals entirely, do you mean nobody on Earth eats animals? Is that what you're asking me?
mate, where I see things happening, mate, they are coming up with such. I had an amazing Beyond Meat burger the other day. I know it's probably old hat to sort of like a maverick vegan like you, but it was thoroughly delicious.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're exactly the sort of person that has a decent veggie burger and thinks that means that humanity is going to stop eating meat very soon. That is absolute because you've discovered Beyond Meat. Oh my god, I got a fucking phone call then. Can you hear me?
Are you giving phone calls on your laptop?
Yeah, it just came up. It was like a phone call.
Oh wow.
I find that quite invasive, actually.
Well, it's on your laptop. What you need to do is, because what you've done is collaborated all of your Appleware, so everything comes up on the side. I bet it went off your watch, your phone, your iPad.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you got to be careful of that, man. It's not good for your headspace. How often do you have to do not disturb on your watch and phone and stuff?
I don't.
You never have it on?
No, and I've noticed you have it. And then, what? Can I ask you a question? When you have Do Not Disturb, so when I text you when you've got Do Not Disturb, which seems to be from about 8:10 in the evening with you,
yeah.
Then it says...
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock you have Do Not Disturb?
Yeah, through to the morning.
Well, I'll send you a text, and then it'll go something like, Tom's got Do Not Disturb, and then it says notify anyway. And I always think,
notifying anyway. That means like you're a guy at the bar who's like, oh, excuse me, please. Oh, hello, I'm here.
The implication there being that of the two of us, I'm the thirstier texter, which we both know is not the case.
Oh, mate. I know who the thirstier texter is. It's just a well-travelled path within this relationship. I'm the thirstiest texter going. I am Mr. Thirsty when it comes to texting. If I like you, if I don't, you see the other side.
I've eaten 3 donuts today.
What, vegan ones?
Yeah.
What's going on when you're eating it? It seems like you're spiraling into a whole new world.
Well, I came up to Glasgow with the intention of eating healthily. I did manage it for about 3 days.
Right.
And I've gone off the rails quite badly. Last night I had a massive curry. I drank, and then this morning... Actually, this morning wasn't that bad, but then they brought in donuts because we're getting to the end of the series.
How much longer you got left to film it?
2 days.
Wow.
So they brought in donuts, and then the part of the problem is if you're one of the only vegans on campus, they'll feel like they have to. It's very nice, but they sort of over cater for you. So basically, I bought a whole box of 12 vegan donuts delivered to my.
That's what they did on the other trip that we did. They brought in so many.
So I know you're not talking about King Gary because the vegan provision on that production's a fucking joke.
Yeah, but we only had you there.
Yeah, I know that. I'm fully aware of that because you were all tucking into like when the fucking late night snacks came out when we were filming late into the night. Everybody's tucking into hot dogs and burgers, and then I get told about one hummus and vegetable sandwich that's fucking knocking about the back of a box like it was there from a previous shoot.
That was there from the previous day when you were there.
Yeah, I know it was. Yeah, you might find there's a crust on the hummus one, but that's actually adds to it.
No, on the voiceover job we did recently.
Oh, mate, that was like next level, wasn't it?
I've got to say though, they did just bring in sweet donuts, vegan donuts. They didn't actually cater for someone who isn't vegan.
Well, I guess they were really rolling the dice on those vegan donuts being good enough to satisfy the non-vegan.
You know what? It was a better one because they're thoroughly delicious. And you know, actually, I found even more delicious than eating them was watching you enjoy them.
As you know, I'm very self-conscious about eating, so tread carefully. What was it?
No, because you did this cute thing when you eat a sugary snack, right? You take a bite, take another bite, and you put it on your plate, and delicately lick your fingers. And then sort of like take another bite. It's really cute.
Yeah. Whereas I would love to comment on your bites, but you just inhale the whole fucking thing. So. Do you need a dish or anything to undoub it while you're taking to touch the ground? Don't worry about that.
I do have a problem with inhaling shit food.
It's not a problem.
Captain says when you need to enjoy it, or you just push it into your mouth. I find
you do enjoy it, don't you?
Yeah, sometimes I think I should do it. When I see you, like, delicately, sort of like, you know, really enjoying every single little morsel of it, like, the lips of the fingers. I don't, this licking the fingers thing, you're making it out like I do it a lot. I don't do it a lot. No, right, this is you. That's delicious.
Can you do less noises for the podcast? Is that alright, so that people really get what you're doing?
Yummy. And also, if anyone wants, because you know what's going live, mate, the mukbang episode is definitely happening.
Okay, so I didn't know there was actually a poll on this, so talk to me about it. What did you do? Because I didn't see a poll, I just saw the clip go up. So what happened?
So I put up a poll. It's 73% of people saying yes, it's 27% saying no. So sort of basically three quarters.
Do you know what? I'm going to say to you now, it's actually a worse ratio than I thought it was going to be. If anything, I think that's evidence that the mukbang shouldn't happen.
Really? Mate, I think that the 73% of people that want it to happen. Antonia, by the way, shout out Antonia, more than up for sneaking some food into the studio recording.
She was being sarcastic. She was being sarcastic. Full disclosure, she was being sarcastic. She was taking the piss out. She was taking the piss. So basically, we've got a wolf on our WhatsApp group. Antonia's on the WhatsApp group. She listened to the episode, and she said, sarcastically, I'll put on a balaclava and bring in a load of food.
I actually didn't take it sarcastic. I thought that she was really eager, like that sort of like a little bit of excitement that she's really going to look forward to.
Why would she look forward to that, bringing in food?
Mate, that could be a really cool thing to do. She could tell, we've talked about it, she can tell people forever that she was the person who snuck the food in. It's like being in sort of, I don't know, Frost versus Nixon or whatever.
Okay. Well, I think she's being sarcastic.
I get, maybe do a poll.
What, do a poll on a... So, do you think the WhatsApp you haven't seen is Antonia being sarcastic or not? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, we could do a, but it's like a one-person poll to Antonia. Do you ever get really hot, but you can feel the heat just coming through your feet?
What?
No, I've got
have you got underfloor heating?
Yeah, but I've got it off at the moment, so it'd be insane to have it on now.
Not necessarily.
I feel so hot.
What are you doing right now under the table? This is disgusting what I'm having to look at now. What are you doing?
I'm pulling my socks off. Put the old towels. There we go now, that's all.
Oh, God. Oh, that's horrible. I don't want to know that you've got bare feet now for some reason. Because like, the whole time I'm talking to you, I think of your little fucking posable toes gripping the desk legs or whatever. I don't want to think about it.
Mate, how mad you just said. I literally, my toes are gripping onto the,
the chair.
I hate that
like a
shit.
pterodactyl, just viewing the world behind him, ready to take flight.
God, I hate that shit. I hate it. I was at dinner the other night with a couple of people from production, and they did something which I then did. I copied them. Basically, they don't know I copied them, unless like they've been talking about me behind my back afterwards. They, in the middle of their meal, stopped eating to sort of talk for a bit.
What?
Yeah. So like,
What, purposely, or was it the conversation?
no, by accident. By accident. No, like they were like eating, and then we were getting into conversation, and they sat back from the plate and started chatting.
No, hold up. What, before you ferociously jumped on me then, with like all the and then, by the way, oh, all your eyes rolled. Nasty little cat. My point was this: was the conversation piece that started so interesting that it brought a halt to the meal, or was it?
I mean, the conversation was interesting. Whether it's interesting, I don't think I've ever been involved in a conversation that's interesting enough for me to stop eating mid-meal, but that's what happened.
Well, obviously you did, but stop just to lick your fingers as a little pause breath.
In contrast to you, that will finish your meal while the first person is completing their first sentence of their conversation.
Hey, nice car.
But what did they do? Did you say you copied them? Because obviously you couldn't.
Well, because I'm very paranoid about finishing my food before everybody else does. It's a problem.
Right. Really?
Yeah, I don't like sitting there with an empty plate and everyone else is still eating, because it just makes me feel like a greedy little fuck. You know what I mean?
No, I look at food a bit like a race. If I see someone else is eating quickly, I'm a little bit like you.
So tell me, how many meals, just on average, rough estimate, how many of your meals a day are you eating in prison?
No, I look at it like, if you've got someone else who's eating quick, it's a bit like, you know, the cars in the F1 you follow around.
Yeah.
Like that one, the pace car. That's how I look at it. If you've got a really quick eater, you try to...
Yeah, but why?
I don't know. I just think with food, it's just got to go quick.
Yeah, why?
I
think that's pretty much the opposite of accepted wisdom now.
Oh yeah, but I enjoy eating quickly.
Yeah,
I guess I enjoy the food enough to sort of push it into my face. When it comes to meal time, do you snack between meals?
Try not to, but I do.
I'm trying not to. I'm hitting my. So I'm really hungry when I get to a meal.
Well, I'm trying to step up my. God, I can't believe I'm about to say this out loud. I'm trying to drink more water.
Mate, that's all life's about. H2O is so important, right?
Oh, God.
What? How much are you drinking a day?
It is.
You should have one of these by with you all the times.
A single-use plastic bottle? I don't think I should.
Or like get one of those sort of like cool ones that you can get under with like picture of Homer Simpson or something.
Yeah. I do have one of those. But I've left it at Week's Lane. But my problem is it makes me want to piss off. Yeah, but it makes me want to piss off. I find it incredibly inconvenient.
Yeah, but at our age, I urinate so much at the moment. I actually got to wet myself today. You ever do that thing? I came to the train station, right? And I was sort of quite looking forward, but I needed a wee. And then I thought, you know what, I don't want to go here, I want to try and get to the office. My office is about 1.3 miles away.
Yeah.
So, well, it's 1.3 miles away, exactly.
Yeah, about 1.3, isn't it?
So I start walking, as I'm sort of set up on my way, I start realising that actually I shouldn't have taken the exposition on, and I probably should have gone when I had the chance. And then the rest, you know that walk that you do, and like the praying you don't bump into anyone you know, because I started getting all stuck on. Because my bladder would felt absolutely like it's going to explode.
Yeah.
I got to the office, there's a guy called Jonathan there, who's very, very sweet, but he's also very chatty. So, I usually love a chat, as you know. I get there and he went, oh, hello Tom, how are you doing? Nice weekend. That was Jonathan, man. I'm so sorry. I'm dying for it to the guy at the station. But I just ran to the toilet.
I once was so desperate for a shit, I sat on the toilet was it Victoria? And I was on the train, 3 bridges to Victoria, it takes about 45 minutes.
Yeah, well.
And I developed a fear of shitting on a train after an incident that I don't want to discuss on the podcast.
What? Really?
Yeah.
You can't say that and then just.
It's disgusting. It is I don't want to talk about it.
You can't come off the back of saying to people how, like, that you're drinking more water and then flirt with probably the story of all stories. I've never heard
it's not the story of all stories, it's just a bit embarrassing. I actually. I had a bad stomach. And I went and found like a sort of, you know, there's like some that are big and basically announce to the carriage that you're going in.
Yeah.
More old-fashioned ones that have kind of got just like.
I love those ones. I absolutely adore those with the sliding doors.
Yeah. So I went into one of those and I was in there for a long time. Right. Just sort of dealing with the situation that my stomach presented me with. Okay. And it was horrific. And I reckon, rough estimate, 4 stations. Right. And I'm not talking about nearby stations.
Red Hill.
I went from Gatwick to Clapham.
Oh, kid, you went from East Croydon. East Croydon's the longest stop on that line as well, bro.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, but to be fair, that's almost a way to do it, because probably most people thought you'd got off the train.
Well, that's what I hoped, except
You didn't go back to your seat.
I didn't go back to my seat, no. I went to a different seat, but that was only after I opened the door to find somebody waiting to use the toilet.
How bad was it that had you cleaned up first? Ask yourself.
This is how bad it was. I had cleaned up after myself, I'm not a fucking animal, but it was such a horrible situation that I was contemplating emailing the train company to tell them to decommission that carriage.
Have you ever had the one when you go into like a train or, and it's...
Yeah, but Tom, hold on, I haven't told you the final detail.
Oh, God. Okay.
As I opened the door and there's somebody waiting, their face physically changed.
What did they do?
They like grimaced as I sort of came out. Oh, God, it's...
What did you say?
Horrible. I didn't say anything. I was too embarrassed. Because, like, in those situations, whenever you see that happen in a film, they go, oh, the guy before me was an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, but that's what I do. That's what I've done that before. But when
I knew that I'd been there since Gatwick. So, I don't know how long they've been waiting there.
Trust me, by the way, no one's waiting for Gatwick to Clapham to go to the toilet.
I know that, but they're not, even East Croydon to Clapham is a situation, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah. So, what am I saying? It was so bad that it's outlasted the 12 minutes that I was in there. And by the way, for 12 minutes I was cleaning up. None of this holds up, does it?
That is so bad. I've been in a situation where I've gone in and someone's left a mess, and I've had to then come out and go, look, by the way, this was it before I was.
You're bikers, right?
Yeah.
Because the buyer wants to...
I had a team on the train today. There was a guy I was on, and he ate a banana, which I think is a big move on a train. Is it quite allowed?
Why?
Because it's allowed to have
food. Mate, how is it loud?
Bananas, I can eat a banana now.
You might have named the quietest fruit to eat.
No way.
Well, tell me a quieter fruit than banana.
The blueberry.
Fair enough. You've actually nailed that.
Mango.
It's
offensive to say that.
Well, first of all, if we're talking about the actual fruit itself, a mango is clearly sloppier than a banana.
Yeah, but eating it, I reckon you could stealthily eat my mango. Yeah, but you have mango pieces, always.
Okay.
Bananas, you could never do that, could you? Because you've got to peel a banana. This is the point. So he's eating his banana, right? And then he puts the banana skin on the seat next to it.
Okay, that's bad.
Right, and I sort of see the banana skin, and then we all get to the station at the end of the line, and he gets up, I said, oh, you're not taking the banana skin with you?
Oh, God.
And he was like, oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot. I was like, no way did he forget it. I mean, he literally, 5 minutes before we were pulling into the main station, was sitting there with the banana skin there. He literally...
Is that the sort of thing that bothers you?
What's that dirty old banana skin left on the train? Yeah, it does. I think it's disgusting.
Why was that the easier option than just picking up yourself and putting it in the bin?
Because it was his banana skin. Why should I just let it go? Well, how tragic would I have had to be to say, good morning, mate, enjoy the rest of your week. And then as he walked off, picked up his banana skin.
No, here's a hint. Don't talk to fucking strangers on the train. Do a little bit of advice for you.
Hey, if someone's just going to eat a banana, which I would arguably say is